Hello students, welcome to my channel Learning History Made Easy. In today's video, we will be seeing about the impact of British rule on economy and education. Before going into the video, if anyone is seeing the channel for the first time or if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and share it with your friends, and also click the bell button to receive notifications whenever I upload new videos. So without wasting time, let us get into the video. So as I have told to you, today's video is about the impact of British rule. Impact of British rule. So we will see the impact of British rule on two different fields, that is the impact on economy and also the impact of British rule on education. So the British, they ruled India for more than 200 years and they exploited India in different ways. Okay, there was a lot of exploitation by the British rule. They exploited India politically. There was political exploitation, economically and socially. And the British rule had greatest impact on the economy and education of India. So first let us see the economic impact. Now considering the British rule, land revenue was a major source of income to the government. Land revenue was a major source of income. To the government. And the British incurred a huge expenditure. British had huge expenditure, and how did this expenditure come? It came in the form of administration. They had huge expenditure on administration, then maintenance of army and waging wars. All these created a huge expenditure for the British, and for that the source was land revenue from India. That was a major source of income for the British. And British, what they did was they introduced a new system of revenue collection. Other than the traditional system, British also introduced a new system of revenue collection in different provinces from time to time. So let us see the first land revenue system, that is permanent revenue settlement, or it is called as Zamindari system, 1793. So what is permanent revenue settlement or Zamindari system? So this system was introduced by Lord Cornwallis. Okay, it was introduced by Lord Cornwallis in 1793. He introduced this in Bengal, Bihar, Orissa and northern UP. Okay, so Lord Cornwallis introduced this system, that is this revenue system, in 1793 in Bengal, Bihar, Orissa and northern Uttar Pradesh. According to this system, East India Company, in this permanent settlement system, East India Company entered into direct agreement with the Zamindars. That was this system. They entered into agreement with the Zamindars. So first it was introduced for 10 years and later it was made permanent. First the system was introduced for 10 years and later it became permanent, and hence it was called as permanent revenue settlement. And in this system, Zamindars, they were given permanent ownership of the land, which they cultivated. And this Zamindars, according to this system, had to pay 89% to the government. The zamindars had to pay 89% to the government and retain the remaining 11% out of the total revenue collected. So 89% to the government and balance 11% the zamindars can retain. So this was the permanent revenue settlement. It was introduced by Lord Cornwallis in 1793 in Bengal, Bihar, Orissa and northern UP. And according to this system, the zamindars the East India Company entered into an agreement with the zamindars. First it was introduced for 10 years and later it became permanent, and hence it was called as permanent settlement system. And zamindars had to pay 89% to the government and can retain the balance percent of the total revenue collected. And this brought regular income to the government. This system brought regular income to the government. So that was the agreement made between East India Company and the zamindars. And under this system, government totally depended on zamindars. Government totally depended on zamindars for the collection of revenue. To collect revenue, the government totally depended on the zamindars. And here in this system, the peasants were harassed. Okay, peasants suffered. They were harassed and zamindars gained a lot of wealth at the cost of peasants. So zamindars gained a lot of wealth at the cost of peasants. They were like middlemen. They collected the revenue and government depended on the zamindars. So this was the first land revenue system introduced by the British, that is permanent settlement or Zamindari system. The second system was called as Ryotwari system. Ryotwari system. Now this system was introduced in Bombay and Madras Presidencies. Bombay and Madras Presidencies. Here the East India Company was made direct settlement with the ryots or cultivators. East India Company here made direct settlement with the ryots or cultivators. Okay, so unlike the Zamindari system, here direct settlement was made with the ryots or cultivators, and the ownership of the land was given to the ryots. Okay, ryots were given the ownership of the land, but on the condition that they had to pay a fixed revenue of 50% regularly. Regularly they had to pay a fixed revenue of 50%. And the revenue was revised every 20 to 30 years. Okay, the revenue was revised. And under this system, the farmers were exploited by the government. Farmers were exploited. Always the farmers or the cultivators suffered. The farmers were exploited. The farmers here were exploited by the government. Okay, exploited. And the revenue was collected with the help of revenue officials. In Zamindari system, the zamindars were collecting the revenue, but here the revenue was collected by the revenue officials. So it was the Ryotwari system was introduced in Bombay and Madras Presidencies, and the East India Company here made direct settlement with the ryots or cultivators, and the ownership of land was given to the ryots on the condition that they paid a fixed revenue of 50% regularly. And it was revised every 20 to 30 years. Here farmers were exploited by the government and the revenue was collected by the revenue officials. And many times what happened was farmers had to pay the revenue. Farmers were forced to pay the revenue even if their produce was totally destroyed by flood or drought. So if flood or drought came and destroyed their crops, even then farmers had to pay the revenue. This was the problem of the farmers. and many farmers lost the ownership of the land due to non-payment of the revenue. They lost their land because they were not able to pay their revenue. So this was the Ryotwari system. Here also the cultivators or farmers had to suffer. Now let us just go through the points which we have studied till now. Impact of British rule on economy and education. The British ruled India for more than 200 years. They exploited India politically, economically and socially. British rule had great impact on Indian economy and education. Economic impact. Land revenue was a major source of income to the government. The British incurred huge expenditure on administration, maintenance of large army and waging many wars. British introduced a new system of revenue collection in different provinces from time to time. Permanent revenue settlement of Zamindari system. Lord Cornwallis introduced this system in 1793 in Bengal, Bihar, Orissa and northern UP. According to this system, the East India Company entered into an agreement with the Zamindars. It was introduced for 10 years and later it was made permanent and hence it was called Permanent Settlement System. Zamindars were given permanent ownership of land which they cultivated with the help of the tenants. Zamindars had to pay 89% to the government and retain the remaining 11 out of the total revenue collected. It brought regular income to the government. Under this system, the government totally depended on the Zamindars to collect the revenue. Peasants were harassed. Zamindars gained a lot of wealth at the cost of the peasants. Ryotwari system. This system was introduced in Bombay and Madras Presidencies. The East India Company was made direct settlement with the ryots or cultivators. The ownership of the land was given to ryots on the condition that they had to pay fixed revenue of 50% regularly. The revenue was revised every 20 to 30 years. Under this system, farmers were exploited by the government. The revenue was collected with the help of revenue officials. Many times the farmers had to pay the revenue even though the produce was totally destroyed by droughts or floods. Many farmers lost the ownership of land due to non-payment of revenue. So now let us go to the next topic, that is the next revenue system, that is Mahalwari system. Mahalwari system. Now what is Mahalwari system? This was introduced in northwestern India, Gangetic Valley and also parts of central India. Okay, Mahalwari system was introduced in northwestern India, Gangetic Valley and parts of central India. Now in Mahalwari system, East India Company, they entered into a settlement with the estate or mahals. Okay, entered into an agreement with the estates or mahals. Now what is mahal? Mahal was a revenue unit of one or more villages. It was a revenue unit consisting of one or more villages. It was a revenue unit. So the East India Company made a direct agreement with the estate or mahals, and the farmers within the mahal were collectively considered to be the owners of the land. All the farmers within the mahal, okay, all the farmers within the mahal were considered as the owners of, collectively they were considered as the owners of the land, and they were responsible for the payment of land revenue. All these people together were responsible for the payment of land revenue, and the revenue was fixed at 50% to 60%, 50 to 60%, and it was periodically revised. But the problem was this heavy taxes became a burden on farmers. The taxes 50 to 60%, heavy taxes became a burden on farmers and they were reduced to absolute poverty. So this was the Mahalwari system. So all the land revenue system, Zamindari, Ryotwari and Mahalwari was always a problem for the farmers or the cultivators, and it was always beneficial for the British government. So that was an economic impact of British rule. So Mahalwari system introduced in northwestern India, Gangetic Valley and parts of central India. Here the East India Company entered into a settlement with the estate or Mahals. Mahal was a revenue unit of one or more villages. Okay, and the farmers within the Mahal were collectively considered as the owners of the land, and they were collectively responsible for the payment of land revenue. The revenue was fixed at 50 to 60% and was periodically revised. The heavy taxes became a burden on farmers and they were reduced to absolute poverty. Okay, so this was the Mahalwari system. So now just let us go through the points which you have studied till now. Mahalwari system was introduced in northwestern India, Gangetic Valley and parts of central India. The East India Company entered into a settlement with the estate or Mahal. Mahal was a revenue unit of one or more villages. The farmers within the Mahal were collectively considered to be the owners of the land and were also collectively responsible for the payment of land revenue. The revenue was fixed at 50% to 60% and was periodically revised, and the heavy taxes became a burden on the farmers and they were reduced to absolute poverty. So all these were the points regarding the land revenue system introduced by the British. So I hope you have understood the points very clearly. In case of any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. And also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Your likes and shares will be of a great encouragement for me to make more and more videos. So I hope to see you all soon in the coming video. Thank you for watching.